Welcome to Messages from the Universe with Laurie Wondra. Laurie is an internationally renowned psychic medium, author, and shamanic practitioner, sharing insights from angels, guides, wisdom keepers, and teachers of the universe that help you navigate life's mysteries and transformations.
Hello, I am Laurie Wondra, and thank you for listening. Today, Messages of the Universe, my guides want me to talk about the violet flame. And most times, we can't talk about the violet flame or transmutation of energy or transformation or evolution without also talking about Saint Germain. The Ascended Master, Saint Germain, the Chohan of the seventh ray of the rays of energy, the ray of freedom and mercy and transmutation. He holds a very important position as the hierarchy of the Aquarian age. All rays and energy come from source, come from divine, but Saint Germain's mission is that he teaches seekers the science of divine alchemy and transmutation. He is said to be the sponsor of all transition and transformation, which is really much of what all the world and all of us are experiencing right now. He is a master alchemist of the sacred fire who brings bearing the gift of the violet flame of freedom for world transmutation. So let's talk about Saint Germain, and let's talk about the violet flame, and let's talk about how we as humans can facilitate this noble rite of the violet flames. Before I go there, I want to talk a little bit about the rays of light. There are 7 foundational rays of light, and those are carried by the Chohans, or the keepers of the rays of light. And Saint Germain happens to carry the violet flame, or the 7th ray. But there's also the expanded 5 rays. I think someday I'll do a podcast just on all the rays of light, because they all have a purpose, and each of their carriers have a mission to deliver that ray of light in its energy form and experiences to humanity. But today I want to focus on Saint Germain and the 7th ray and the violet flame. And together with his twin flame, the Ascended Lady Master Portia, a goddess of justice, he is the hierarchy of the Aquarian age. He's the great sponsor of freedom's flame, where Portia is the sponsor of the flame of justice and opportunity. Saint Germain is and carries the energy about transmutation. Now, when I talk about the twin flame, Portia carries the pink flame and stands for the goddess or the feminine energy, though fiery in nature and the goddess of justice, where Saint Germain carries the blue flame, and together as they intertwine their flames of pink and blue, they create this violet flame, this purpley rich light that reminds us of transformation and change. Now, the name Saint Germain comes from the Latin Sanctus Germanius, meaning simply holy brother. He's a Chohan, or Lord of the 7th ray. And Saint Germain initiates our souls in the areas of science and ritual of transmutation through this violet flame. Essentially, change. And we're constantly going through change. How best I can explain it, and what they tell me, is that Saint Germain and Lady Portia deliver to the people of God the dispensation of the 7th age and the 7th ray, the violet ray of freedom, justice, mercy, alchemy, and sacred ritual. It is a new life wave, a new civilization, a new energy, a new way of being. A transformation of our energy from something of the old into something of the future and something of the new. Diplomats, priests of the sacred fire, actors, writers, and defenders of freedom all serve with Saint Germain on this 7th ray. But how do we as humans facilitate this noble rite of the violet flame? Well, in the sacred dance of energy and intention, few spiritual technologies are as profound and as luminous and as potent as the violet flame. It's known to the adepts, the mystics, the alchemists of ancient and modern lineages alike. The violet flame is a spiritual fire of divine transmutation. It is not merely a visualization technique or a mystical idea. It is a living frequency of mercy, purification, forgiveness, and, of course, divine alchemy. Now, to invoke and facilitate the noble rite of the violet flame is to consciously align with one of the most transformative forces of the universe. It is to step into the role of co-creator, energy master, and divine purifier, not only for oneself, but for humanity and the planet. Remember, we are all connected. We have capabilities to connect to this energy to bring it in, but as a responsibility, we also have that responsibility to share this divine energy. And because we are all one, we carry this ability. Now, the violet flame is governed by the Ascended Master Saint Germain. It is available to any sincere seeker who approaches in devotion, love, compassion, and certainly intention. Saint Germain is the keeper of this ray, and I ask him to be with us today. And sometimes if you close your eyes and you ask Saint Germain to be in front of you, you actually see the ray of the violet flame. I've taken many, many pictures out in nature, and I've just asked who's around me, and I've snapped a photo, or I feel their energy, and I snap a photo and I catch the rays of the Ascended Master. But I truly believe that Saint Germain is strong and prevalent to us right now. So facilitating the noble rite creates this cascade of energetic and spiritual outcomes. Each one is a doorway to expanded awareness and multidimensional healings. And I want to provide 7 profound effects that really unfold as one consciously works with the sacred frequency. And remember, it is a sacred frequency. It is approached with divine intent. Number 1, the violet flame helps with the expiration and the completeness of all karma that exists. The violet flame is a transmuting fire. It does not merely mask karmic debt, it transforms its very vibration. And karmic energy is stored in our soul records and our cellular memory. It is accumulated, imprinted in our thought, in our words, in our deeds, our actions, our intentions across lifetimes. It's not a punishment. It's a spiritual gravity, a system of divine feedback that ensures that the soul experiences the full scope of its creations. If I created something in a past lifetime, I get to see its birth and its use now. If I did not get to see something that I created in the past, I get to see that now. So when we invoke the violet flame with humility and sincerity, we call upon divine grace to assist in the purification of these karmic cords, past life trauma, ancestral burdens, emotional loops, and patterns. They begin to dissolve in this radiant violet hue of transformation. Like a spiritual solvent, the flame dislodges what no longer serves and elevates the soul into a state of clarity and neutrality. This expiration is not erasure, it is evolution. I suggest to people we can't simply cut the cords, we need to heal them, and this violet flames helps us heal. It is a completion of a karmic cycle through forgiveness and love and divine justice. And as karma clears, we gain access or regain access to forgotten gifts, deeper freedoms, and the ability to co-create without any distortion. Number 2, the expansion of our extrasensory awareness. Well, the more purified our vessel is, that's our human form, the more precise the signal is that we can pick up. As karma is transmuted and emotional density is lifted, our energetic field becomes more refined. It's purified, and this purification of the inner landscape makes way or creates the additional pathways for the awakening of subtle senses, those which exist beyond the physical, those that have been there but have been clouded with other energy. Other subtle sensory includes clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizant. All of those begin to be activated or they become heightened. And we feel the guidance of angels. We hear the whispers of the soul and see visions from dimensions beyond the veil. Our physical senses are heightened, our hearing, our seeing, our taste, our touch, but also our senses of picking up other dimensional energy. The third eye clears. We become clear of who we are. The fourth and fifth eye open. The crown opens. The heart becomes a translator for divine frequency. When the heart understands its compass and understands its emotions and is deeply tied to strong and healthy mental processes, the heart can just be the heart. Facilitating the violet flame attunes us to these higher octaves of reality. In my world, I use sound healing and frequencies to access other octaves. But in the world of frequency and energy, there's similar vibrations and frequencies that are always available to us. And it simply becomes easier to recognize synchronicities, to receive intuitive downloads, and trust that quiet voice within. Extrasensory perception is not a gift given to a chosen few. It's a natural consequence of spiritual hygiene and inner light. The flame restores our inner antenna and its original brilliance. And when we choose to activate it and we choose to focus and we choose with honor, we have access to that energy. Number 3, the erasing of the cause behind the effect of disease. Every physical ailment begins first in the energetic field. Before disease manifests in the body, it exists as a distortion in the etheric template, caused by perhaps some emotional trauma, suppressed memories, suppressed emotions, karmic contracts, or external interferences. And while medicine can treat symptoms, only energetic transformation can dissolve the root cause. Now, certainly there's energetic and there's environmental. But this is an opportunity now and in this era that we're in to remove any energy trauma, energy layers that are creating sickness or illness or prevention or prohibition of us moving forward on our path. The violet flame, when facilitated, intentionally seeks out the causal layer. It acts as an etheric fire that purifies the hidden drivers of imbalance. Fear, guilt, shame, resentment, and unconscious beliefs that often can feed disease are identified and lifted into the light. The soul begins to reclaim its sovereignty from the inside out, from our energy source field to our humanness. This is not to replace physical medicine. It's not to replace those things that we do need to pay attention to, those environmental factors, taking care of our vessel. But this is also an energy that can complement what we're doing to help in those other areas. True healing is holistic. It is whole. It embraces body, mind, spirit, and soul. The violet flame does not bypass the lesson within the illness, but transmutes the suffering around it. In doing so, it allows the deeper purpose of the experience to emerge, transform victimhood into wisdom. It helps heal the past. Some of you are carrying past lifetime wounds, and you're suffering or you're experiencing the ramifications of that in this lifetime. You might not be able to pinpoint a specific illness or disease to something in this lifetime. You can look for patterns. You can look for things that can make your physical being better. The violet flame can help you transmute from now into a future more healthy or holistic environment. Number 4, an experience of one's passion and creativity through opening of the heart. Well, the heart is the alchemy center of the human experience. It is where the higher self communicates, where soul memories live, where divine intelligence becomes emotion. And as the violet flame clears pain, betrayal, and grief from the heart chakra, the creative current begins to flow. It's that solar plexus that can then move up into that space in the heart and then up into the throat and be seen out into the world. We remember what we love. We feel inspiration. We are pulled to dance, to write, to paint, to build, to teach, to express. Creativity is not only for artists. It is the soul's language. I laugh when people say I'm not creative or I'm not artistic. Of course you are creative. Of course you are an artist. When the heart is open and unburdened, passion naturally returns. We reconnect to joy, to purpose, and play. Facilitating the noble rite of the violet flame nurtures this inner fire, this inner passion. It does not demand perfectionism or authenticity. The flame invites us to step into our divine artistry, knowing that every act of honest creation is a mirror of the Creator itself. The flame turns pain into poetry, silence into song, and longing into sacred expression. Number 5, the knowledge of one's position as a force of creation. As the layers of illusion fall away through the transmutation of the violet flame, we remember who we are. Not just as seekers or healers, but as creators. We are not subject to life, we generate it. Our thoughts sculpt energy, our emotions color the field. Our intentions builds timelines, actions, activities, outcomes. This knowledge is not intellectual, it is embodied. It comes with responsibility and reverence. To know oneself as a force of creation is to take sacred ownership of one's own frequency. We become aware of how we walk, how we speak, how we choose, how we dream, how we interact with all. The violet flame reveals this truth gently. It doesn't push, it awakens. In its radiant mirror, we see the divine spark within and begin to live as architects of possibility, not limitation. Life ceases to happen to us, but it flows through us. We become aligned channels for grace, for love, for compassion, and the world around us begins to shift. Number 6, the ecstasy of the interconnectedness of the all that is. One of the highest blessings of the violet flame is the dissolution of separation. We are not different from them. I am not different from you. As the flame burns away the veils of illusion, we become and we begin to perceive the divine intelligence that's woven into all things. As I look out my windows, I can feel the trees breathing with me. At night, I know the stars are watching us. The water sings in resonance with our emotions. We are connected to all. This interconnectedness is not philosophical. It is experiential. It is a living ecstasy that arises in stillness, meditation, prayer, and communion. We understand that nothing is random. Nothing is separate. Nothing is unworthy of love. This is the mystical state known as unity consciousness. The violet flame does not just heal the individual, it lifts the frequency of the collective. It reweaves us into one heart, the one mind, the one light. This is the ecstasy of belonging, not just to a family or a nation, but to existence itself. And lastly, number 7, a precise connection with Source. In the quiet after the burning, in the stillness beyond purification, there is clarity. This is the gift of a precise, direct, unwavering connection with Source. Whatever your version is Source, God, Buddha, the divine, the universe. No, this is not a belief, it's a frequency, a resonance that sings in your soul, sings in your cells, in your breath, in your knowing. You know you are connected to Source. The violet flame refines the channel. It does not create connection. It removes the blocks to it. You begin to feel the presence of the divine, not only in meditation, but in daily life, in the eyes of a stranger, in the wind through the trees, the fluttering of a hummingbird, and the rhythm of your own heartbeat. Facilitating this Noble Rite brings you home to the sacred intimacy of being known, being seen, and loved by the infinity. You are no longer seeking outside of yourself because you have remembered Source is not far away. It is not out there. It is not unreachable. It is at the very center of your being. It is where you come from, where you return, and what you truly are. You are of Source, from Source, and one with Source. However you define that, you are one. And I'd like to end today with the violet flame activation prayer. This is to help anchor in and initiate this alignment and to honor the violet flame and Saint Germain and its gift of transmutation, because I know we're all going through change and shifts and healing. So please close your eyes, take a deep breath. Beloved, I am presence, sacred flame of transmutation. I call upon the violet fire, holy light of mercy, freedom, and transformation. Surround me, fill me, ignite me. Burn away the residue of all karma across all timelines. Cleanse the causal body of disease, despair, and distortion. Lift me into purity, passion, and peace. Open my heart as a chalice for divine creativity. Awaken my senses to the unseen truths. Reveal to me my place as a conscious force of creation. Let me feel the heartbeat of the cosmos in my own chest. Let me see the divine in all things and in myself. Make me a living temple of the violet flame. Let it exist within me to be here and to be shared with all. I receive this right. I am transmuted, uplifted, and free. So it is. So it is. So it is. I'm Laurie Wondra of Your Life Core, and thank you so very much for joining me today. Many blessings to you.
Thank you for listening to Messages from the Universe. For information about Laurie Wondra's current events or to schedule a private session, visit her website, yourlifecore.com. You can also subscribe to her monthly newsletter. Laurie also shares inspirational and informational messages on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening.